Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, folks.
Welcome back to the routing loop.
Yeah. It's been a bit since we've done one of these. Matt and Jamie just
Yeah,
talk about stuff, right?
yeah, I like these.
Yeah,
Dominic's there. Must have been
yeah.
hanging out waiting. Hey, Jeff. AW. Oh, you're Jeff.
That's
Hi,
our
Jeff. That's our
producer.
Jeff. I thought it was another Jeff. There's lots of
Getting all,
Jeffs.
getting all excited.
So we got a few things to chat about today. I guess we'll wait and let a couple of people join. I'm currently trying to log into my
You're drawing.
whiteboarding equipment here. We'll see how that goes. We were just talking about coffee before we jumped on. Sessions, yeah, so that's a good one. We were going to talk about some reInvent stuff, so I think we'll dig into the reInvent catalog and we'll talk about what our favorite reInvent sessions are.
I
There's
think it's Net
been a few
309
changes
is
this year.
everybody's favorite, right? Net 309.
The thing is, I'm only doing a chalk talk this year, and it requires minimal prep just because it all comes out of my brain during the session, as opposed to prepping a bunch of slides. I
I'm
have a
going to
funny
stop
story
you
about
right
that in a
there.
second.
I know which
Yeah.
one you're doing. You're doing the Ask Me Anything, which is great, by the way. If you have a chance, go and do. I used to run these as well, but they started from Mr. Lewis over here, who actually invented the concept of chalk talk. I'm gonna brag about you, okay? But you did.
I can tell that story actually.
But before
I
we
mean,
get to that story, I want to
kind of
correct
interesting.
you on the fact that it's not zero prep, dude. It's like every ounce of hour and time of your experience in the professional world was your prep for that. Because people bring any question, you can bring any question you want related to networking, of course, not about Matt's beard or anything, and say, hey. Like one question I would ask if I was an audience member, because I love watching Matt do this, and you should go through the story, but like, how fast can I go in AWS? Like, how quick can I send packets, right? And then Matt will get up with his partner and he'll draw on the whiteboard and explain all of it. And I'm telling you, it is the best thing. I'm doing a breakout, and as much as I'd love all of you to go to that breakout, you can watch it on YouTube. You can't watch Matt and his Ask Me Anything on YouTube. So just definitely go to that. So anyways,
they should record those sessions. That would be cool. But then maybe, well, I shouldn't say this, but when we don't talk about super interesting private things like how encapsulation works and other things, but I do feel a little bit at ease when I'm at a chalk talk and it's not recorded. Like if you're on a breakout, there's I don't know 1,000 people in the room and it's recorded, and your mum's watching, and there's like 40,000 views on YouTube. You're a little more careful about what you say, and you're a little more curated. But in the chalk talks, it's just an open conversation. It does feel a bit more intimate when there's no recordings, Dominic. Definitely.
Hey, I'm going to bring this up from Dominic, and then after this, you're going to tell us how you invented the chalk talk.
Okay, so first backstory on advanced VPC design, and we'll find the code for that one and paste it in, because advanced VPC design and new capabilities for Amazon VPC, I made that name up I think the first time I presented was 2016 or 17, I can't remember. I made that name up as kind of a joke. It was just a huge long name. Anyway, I wanted to call it New Features with VPC, but they came back and said, well, you got to say Amazon VPC. I'm like, okay. And then they said, well, it can't be just new features, because there's another new feature session by Dave Brown. He talks about new features, or Peter DeSantis. They have some really good, cool sessions. So don't just call it new features, call it advanced design. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just sneak that in and put that in. And so advanced VPC design and new capabilities for Amazon VPC, mouthful. I'm not doing it this year because I've actually moved teams. We have a networking services product team, and this is irrelevant for the folks externally because we work with you as customers, but that team, our network services, owns all of those products. And Jamie, you're in networking services.
I am indeed in networking services.
And I've actually taken a step into EC2 proper. So I'm working on EC2E things, and it didn't feel fair to present on server, and I have only recently made this move, but it didn't feel fair to present on services that I'm not now an active stakeholder in, as I'm not in that team. So I handed the reins off to Alex, who obviously has been presenting with me and taking over more and more of the session each year as I get less and less time. And Andrew Gray, one of our principal essays on the strategic team, what did we just say about Andrew? He's one of the smartest guys we know.
Yeah, exactly. If we don't know, we usually ask Andrew, and then wherever Andrew he has to have a backpack for the rest of his brain because it's so big.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a smart guy. So you guys will definitely have a great time if you join that session.
So if he's wheeling in a suitcase into the session, you know what's in there. It's
Yeah, exactly. It's the rest of his brain. It can
anyway.
bend time and space. So how did you invent the Chalk Talk? How did that happen?
Chalk Talks. Well, back in, I can't remember when my first reInvent was. I think it was 2014 because I joined in 2013 in November. I don't know, it was the week before reInvent. And my manager at the time said, "Hey, we're all going to reInvent. Welcome to AWS. You can't come because you just joined. Just take the week off and go study stuff." And so I did, and it was amazing. But I'm kind of bummed because I missed like a really, really early reInvent. But anyway, 2014, I think, or it's 2013 or 14. Anyway, one of those, we said, let's do whiteboarding sessions. Like, okay, that's great. And so we went through this tool and booked a room, and everyone else wanted to do whiteboarding sessions on different topics. And we thought, well, that's cool. We're going to need 10 whiteboards. We're going to need a huge room. There's 1,000 people signed up for this thing. Not that many, maybe 100, but there's a lot. It felt like 1,000. And we all got packed into this room, and we all had a little corner where there was 10 whiteboards and 10 topics: certification, security, networking, everything. And there were so many people interested in networking. I had all these people just sitting around. It's like the Pied Piper, and we're whiteboarding. This is a VPC, and this is how VPN connects to VPC. But the problem was there was that much interest in all of the sessions. It was so loud in there. I lost my voice. This was on the Monday of reInvent, so I couldn't talk the rest of the reInvent, and no one could hear what I said, and I got really bad ratings. He said, "Well, we think there was some cool stuff being said, but we couldn't hear anything because it was so loud in there. It was like a concert." Anyway, the next year, I said, "Well, that was cool, but let's have a dedicated room, and we need to give it a better name outside of whiteboarding sessions. Let's call it well, what do you do? You talk, and it's like a chalkboard. Let's call it a chalk talk." And we did, and there you go. Chalk talks are super popular at reInvent. Yeah.
Yeah, last year, Dominic, you're right. I did. I think I delivered 2 Chalk Talks last year and a breakout session. That was a busy year.
What was your chalk talk on last year?
One of the Chalk Talks was on, I believe, MPLS in AWS, and the other
Is that possible?
Yeah, MPLS, of course. On ALB, you could do it on ALB. You could do it on API Gateway. You could do it on CloudFront. MPLS.
Sure?
Sorry,
You
my
don't mean
brain.
MPLS?
MTLS. Sorry, guys. MTLS. MPLS was like something I was literally just working on before this. So
I was thinking you
MTLS,
must have been doing some crazy overlay tunnels
yeah.
and VXLAN and.
Well, you could probably do some MPLS-y stuff with Siteless.
We should talk about that. We should whiteboard that because I have some ideas that I want to share.
Yeah. That'd be cool. But yeah, so Chalk Talk was born. Yeah, VPC Lattice. I did something with Lattice too. That was the resource endpoint announcement with Ashish and Eric Fuller, which Eric was the developer excellent on, and Ashish is the PM, which is super, super smart. Another big brain.
We talk about all this stuff, but I like to share links so people who are new to the channel and maybe don't know what resource endpoints are can follow along. I'm going to post a link in the chat here.
Also, by the way, for anybody who's in the chat or whatever, ask any questions you want. Right, this is the time where we're basically a little bit more freeform, and we're talking a little bit more about what's coming up, like what you guys are doing, what's going on with reInvent, any type of technical topics that you guys want us to talk about or draw. Happy to do that. But yeah, I wanted you to tell your story about the Chalk Talk thing, because I thought I brag about that one a lot for you because of the fact that I think that's just so neat on how things become so organic, and now it's like Chalk Talk is like
an integral part of the whole. What do we call reInvent? Is it a summit or a what do we call that? A conference, I guess.
Conference, yeah, the biggest conference in the world.
A Net 218. What's that one?
What is that? That's got to be you. It can't be me.
No, Net 218. I don't recognize the ID. 218. Let's see. Simplify cross VPC resources. That's your session.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you for watching that one so much, TechFuel. You watched it 50 times. Do you have any questions on that or any art of the possibility? Let me know. It's funny. The interesting thing that I get. I don't know about you, Matt, but for my sessions, I get folks that externally will ask me technically how things are done, and internally they'll be I'll get folks that'll be like, "How did you make that slide?" So that's always fun. You got to keep those close to the chest before reinvent. I got for my I think mine's a 309 now. It's modernizing applications with VPC Lattice, which is my breakout this year. I went a little nuts on the artwork and on the presentation, because my philosophy anyways is I don't want to put a lot of words on the screen, and I don't want to put a lot of words in the presentation. I want it so that the presentation will go right along with what I'm saying, so that whatever I'm saying, the gobbledygook that's coming out of my mouth makes more sense when you look at the screen. So I try to
I
take
love having a slide just like that, where it just has 2 words.
Mine have no words. They just have pictures. And that drives everyone nuts too, because I don't know about you, but the way I prepare for reInvent, I will create the slide deck, which I'm finally just done. By the way, just for everyone else, there's lots of deadlines. We are very draconian, making sure that our slide decks are up to snuff. They get tech reviewed by tons of people, right? So there's a huge process for this. And the number one milestone I always miss. And can you guess what that number one milestone is that I always miss, Matt?
Was that uploading your slides last Friday?
Yeah. I'm always late because I'm always messing with that deck, right? But
so,
the other
so
thing
for
too,
folks who don't know, the deadline for slides was, I think, the 30th of October. So all
33.
content now should be done.
Yeah. And you have a chalk talk, so you're laughing at me this year.
Well, I want to come back to the amount of effort that it takes for a chalk talk. And you're right. There was an analogy where someone, I don't even know where this was, but there was a mechanic on a ship who charged $40,000 to fix a huge component of the engine, and it took 10 minutes. And they said, oh, well, what a ripoff. You got paid $40,000 for that 10 minutes. And he said, no, I got paid $40,000 for the last 40 years of working and being able to diagnose and fix that problem. So yeah, I feel that. Here's my chalk talk slides from, I don't know what year, what vintage this one is. I'm trying to guess, maybe 2019 based on the colors. So yeah, this is my, so GPS 409, Network Foundations on AWS is a chalk talk that I did. And here is the one slide I submitted. That was it.
That is perfect.
Because and then breakout repeats. I think it's 2018. I think you're right.
Yeah, because that's back when they restricted us. Remember when they used to give us so many repeats? Yeah. You didn't know if you were going to be repeated like 4 times. Yeah. And now it's only 2 and none for.
Well, so the team basically said, I said, it's a chalk talk. You don't need any slides. And they said, if you don't upload slides, your session's canceled. And so I uploaded that.
Oh, man.
That was great.
That's crazy. Yeah, mine will be uploaded this Friday. To be fair, too, I have a customer that's going to be talking with us, too, that went through the modernization journey that I work with. I'm not going to reveal who they are because you guys can see that on the but they're well known, and it's going to be good because the gentleman that's going to be talking with me, I know him, and he talks very well. But how do you handle bar raisers from the presentations? No words, wow, only pictures this year, reviews in many cases. So the way we handle bar raising, so here's the thing, which is pretty interesting. For us to be able to speak with you, even on this, right? We have different levels of that you can attain for speaking certifications, and within each of those levels, there's training, right, on the way that we speak and the way we talk, and looking for gotchas and stuff. And then over time, Matt, myself, and others that you've seen regularly, and the new folks, they go through different summits, or they'll go to like Reinforce and kind of get their chops, if you will. Get things going, and then you'll get what we call customer satisfaction score. So that's why you will always see us at reInvent going, hey, please rate us, because that helps us know how well we're doing, but it also lets everyone else know. So it can be a little brutal. It lets everyone else know how we're doing as well. And the higher the CSAT score, the better you get. But yeah, you get a mentor. We do dry runs a lot, and the folks that have spoken quite a bit will generally tend to help out others by doing dry runs or meeting with the group and saying, hey, let's talk about your topic, let's look at your slides and that stuff. So it's pretty intense, right? And we all take it extremely serious. So there's a lot of folks internally in AWS that always kind of want to go to reInvent, and it's kind of like one of those things where it's a privilege for us to go and stand in front of you guys and be able to talk about these things. But they definitely put us through the ringer to make sure that you're not, because we do recognize that you're putting aside a significant amount of time and money to be there. We don't want it to be like just kind of like the ad hoc show, right? We wanted to make sure that you learn something. There's something you can get coming out of every session. I can only really speak for the networking portions, right? But I'm sure that all the rest of of reInvent is the same way, and we're just kind of nuts about that. What do you think about that, man? You're a part of the process of making all this up anyway.
Yeah, I think it's tough, and I try not to get a big head, but advanced VPC design was just, it's been an immense run, and it's just gotten a lot of love, and we've poured everything we have this time of year into making those slides the best they can be, and pushing the product team to try and get the best releases and everything right throughout the year. When a bar raiser comes in, and yes, I am a bar raiser sometimes, but I get other people that come and bar raise me as far as presentations goes, likewise for you, Jamie. But
yeah, definitely.
When someone comes in and starts picking that apart, and I know it's a 5.0 CSAT session, it's ready, there's no problems with it, and they start just tearing stuff off it, saying, I don't like that font size, I think this has got too much on it, there's too many animations, how are you going to keep track of the clicks, all of those things. I get a little bit upset, because they're obviously attacking my work that I've spent 150 hours on. But then once I calm down and think about it, you take maybe 50% of the feedback and discard it.
Yeah,
because you know better, maybe, I don't know. But the other 50%, there's some gold nuggets in there, and you're like, you know what? Actually, now that I look at it from this far back, it's too small. Let me up the font size. Now that I think about it, there are too many clicks. Let me adjust those. And then afterwards, I feel a little humbled. It's almost like when you've got a GPS. I don't know if folks have ever had like phones are pretty good these days, but a hardware GPS in your car, those old like TomTom Garmin things. Mm-hmm. I used to, directions on those, I'd be like, I know better. It's this way, it's that way. I'm turning here. Every time I'd be humbled and I'd be like, okay, now I'm lost. Or now I just added 10 minutes on because I'm wrong and the GPS is right. So it's like one of those humbling moments where you actually think, okay, external feedback is good and this process does work, right?
That whole thing is related. I always, I tell other folks when I'm giving them feedback that it's not an attack. Like, because the thing is, right, it's your amygdala. I think it's your amygdala in your brain, right? It's that flight or fight. So when they found that signals in your brain that when someone challenges you and says that you're wrong, it's the same signal as pain, no matter what.
I think that's absolutely incorrect, Jamie.
So
you're totally wrong.
It's
how did you feel?
There's a lot of pain, but but that's the thing is they say it's just like pain. So what do? It's the fight or flight. You either defend or run, right? And if you're in a position of having something that you've done so long, but I got to tell you, I have the exact same thing. I remember I had an experience where now what they do also is they'll pair us up with a junior speaker, right? Which is great. And the junior speaker gets to learn and all that stuff. And it creates that second generation so that when Matt does decide to pass off his, infamous session of advanced VPC design, he's sure that it's being passed into good hands because they've gone through this rigmarole and all that stuff. But feedback equals fight me, bro. Yeah, exactly. But I remember I went with.
I was going to say on the amygdala thing. I heard something recently. I don't know how true this is, so maybe we can fact check it. But the amygdala is a lower level process that happens, and you're feeling this fight or flight. And then someone said, well, if you express how you're feeling in words, you say, I'm actually feeling very insulted right now by the words that you're saying. Yes. Even just out loud, you switch the low order process to a higher level process in, I think it's the prefrontal cortex or something. And because now you're able to, because of speech. And suddenly you don't feel that feeling, that emotion anymore. And then you can be like, okay, you're right. The font size is too small. I'll fix it.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Matt. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. He's going to start fighting. But I was with a junior person that we went to one of those, even at reInvent for the speakers, they give us a lot of resources to be able to stand up, have a mock stage, see what it looks like, walk around. And then the person was giving direction as I was doing my part. And they're like, stop wandering. And I'm like, what? Everyone, it's okay. I wander. I said, no, stop wandering. You got to stand there. It's more firm. And of course, my first impression was like, I do this all the time. I get great scores. It's always easy. What is he talking about? Sure enough, when I stood there, it just kind of clicked when I went up on stage and I had this, went in there and the feedback sunk in. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's more grounded as opposed to like wandering all over the stage and seeming like almost like a nervous Nettie. So if you ever see my earlier videos, I'm walking back and forth like a caged animal. And then after that feedback, it was one of those things. And I was supposed to be the one helping somebody else. So there's always something to learn. There's always a style. The whole talking with your hands open as opposed to your hands closed, and a lot of that stuff. How often do you turn your back on the audience, and are people leaning forward versus leaning back? You can kind of tell, are they on their phones, or are they talking to one another after a comment? All those things that you just kind of learn after a while.
Someone told me, I use a lot of hands when I talk, but someone said, actually, I think it might have been Matt Yanchishin, he's a VP over at AWS. He does a bunch of public speaking. I think someone told him that he uses his hands a lot too. If you'd go like that, I think it's like, or you like just pressure between your thumb and a finger, and you let your hand settle by your side, it feels like you're doing something with your hand already, just because you've got some pressure there between your fingers, and you'll subconsciously stop using your hands so wildly, and you won't feel like you've just got dead arms as a dead weight there, which people who use their hands to talk, when you tell them stop using their hands, they just kind of do this, right? So I tried it and it worked pretty well for me, but your mileage may vary. I don't know.
I'll try that. One of the most painful things for me is watching my own videos, counting all the ums, seeing the missteps, your voice getting dry. It's like all those little things. I think I noticed that a lot more than others do. I don't know.
Yeah. This wasn't meant to be a session on public speaking tips.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that helped me was I used to think everyone was against me, and I'd go out there and they're going to pick up on everything and berate me. And no, people are out there just to learn. They're with you. They're your friends. They
these are our
allies.
People.
Yeah, exactly. They just want to hear cool stuff. But yeah, you're right, Erie, about stage presence. It is fascinating, and small movements can convey different emotions. We're 22 minutes in. Way to burn time. I think we can talk about this stuff all day. Wait, I don't want slides. I wanted to actually bring up this one here.
The catalog.
This is a different size. The catalog. I'll make it a bit bigger here. Yeah. And then if I do this. So all I did was I jumped into I'll do it again. Event catalog.
That's right, Gary. Audiences do want us to succeed. I felt that too. There are times, of course, like especially when I was younger and newer, where the audience was almost helping me out, right?
Right. No, it's a good mind shift to think, well, hold on, they're not your enemy, they're your friends out there. So this is just networking in the catalog. I just want to see what's going on this year. Maybe we can talk about some stuff. What do you think? Deep dive on AWS hybrid and edge networking architectures, HMC 315. It's not a net session. What's HMC? Is that hybrid multi-cloud? Is that what that stands for? I guess.
I think it's hybrid multi-cloud. It's definitely not the...
Okay, so this will be an interesting session. It's a chalk talk. It covers patterns such as public versus private connectivity. Okay, interesting. And then it looks like this one here is this a breakout? No, chalk talk. Another chalk talk on multi-cloud networking best practices. I want to go to that. That sounds great. Multi-cloud networking best practices. What do you think? Would you go to one or both of these? They seem like they're kind of overlapping a little bit, maybe.
I would say, for me, if you dare to have more than just AWS as your cloud, the one I don't know about you, Matt, but I get asked this question a lot. Like, how can I connect up to another cloud? I have customers in another cloud, and can I use VPN? Can I use, which of course you can now that we can initiate from our side as well. Hey, I've got an MPLS with direct connect, and I'm putting some endpoints here and endpoints there. How can I swing the traffic? Stuff like that. So I think that's actually important to know, especially now, like when you have things like VPC Lattice, where you can actually have your services what do I want to say? Services roles and your security controls, all honored by other clouds. It's absolutely possible based on basically using IAM Anywhere and key trusts and stuff. So you can literally do that. Anything on Cloud WAN and SD-WAN sessions.
Let's do a search. We can come back to this networking one. There's a bunch here. I'm just saying there's 139 sessions. There's networking reception at the Canon. I can't even pronounce that. That has nothing to do with networking, but all about meeting people. But I'd go to that. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we can go to that.
Let's do a search for, I just saw something on NVIDIA. Networking, it's an NVIDIA-sponsored networking reception. There's a bunch of networking receptions here. Let's filter this down. What if we did...
There was a time, by the way, I want to say, where I remember, how long have you been at AWS now, Matt?
I'll tell you, in days. I'll check yours as well.
You can check.
So I have been here since November 11, 2013. So that means my first reInvent was 2014. And I've been here 11 years, 11 months, and 25 days. Bummer, I missed 11, 11, 11.
Wow.
And Jamie, you have been here. Let's check when's. Bum, 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 bum. It's loading. Oh, it redirected me to another site. Oh, here, 9 years. Whoa, 1 month and 2 days. You're almost at 10 years. So yeah, very cool.
But yeah, so like that long ago, just remember how reInvent was with networking. I remember we got like not many sessions. I think our sessions, our session list isn't as big as I'd like it to be anyways, because I'd always like to have more, but I seem to think that we didn't have quite as many sessions as we do today.
Well, just, I don't know if this is real. Cloud WAN, I maybe have to put some, what are they, apostrophes? Is that what they're called?
I don't think there's a space. Just do Cloud WAN with
66. No, nothing came up. Nothing came up. Check this out. Cloud WAN.
AWS Cloud WAN MCP you had before.
Well, I think it's doing a search on single words. So if I put, what are they called? Apostrophes, a 6699 or whatever?
Oh, you mean the quotes? Quotations.
Quotation marks. Thank you. My brain's not working. All right. So deep dive on advanced routing policy with AWS Cloud WAN. It's a 400 level session. Oh, this will be good. You've got Sridhar, who's the product manager for Cloud WAN, or at least he's the product manager. You've got, I forget how to pronounce this, Eugene, I think, network engineer for Airbnb. That's going to be pretty awesome. So you're getting some real customer stuff in there. Sid, who's a host on
Everyone should know
Loop.
who Sid is.
And I don't know Saurav. Do you know Saurav?
I don't.
Jamie?
I don't.
Maybe he's a new gentleman here.
So
that one, I'd say that one sounds like a pretty good one. 400 level sessions, man.
They're going to expect
Advanced VPC design has been 200 level for a few years. I think we made it 300. I think once or twice. I always push for 400, but yeah. So Jeff says Sid is great, and I agree with that.
I do.
Okay. What about Cloud WAN MCP server?
Very well on a guitar.
He does.
He knows how to play guitar.
Well, he has a lot of guitars in his background, so I assume he's good. Okay, Cloud WAN MCP server. Andy Taylor does so much automation stuff. He's from the UK.
He's so good.
I would highly recommend going to that session. He's super passionate, and if he's talking about using Cloud WAN and building an MCP or using an MCP to leverage LLMs with Cloud WAN, I'm assuming this is. Tell me about what's in my account. Oh, you've got a Transit Gateways VPCs. It looks like you're a good candidate for Cloud WAN. Do you want to deploy a Cloud WAN network segment?
Yeah.
If that's the case, that'd be pretty awesome.
Complex scenarios and trace network.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at the.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Establishing AWS Foundation with AWS Control Tower. Sorry, Control Tower. Control Tower's great, I'm sure. Ask me anything about networking. Who's this? Oh, that's my session with Tom at Armsky. This will be fun.
Yeah.
So we've got two of these. I think one's on Monday, one's on.
Yeah, I like that. Meh.
That's okay. Bring your hard questions. Okay, there's Tom and I again. Choosing the right AWS network connectivity option for your use case. This is a question that we get from so many customers, and they're calling out VPC Lattice. So I'm assuming they're going to say, what should you use? Well, they don't say peering. Peering's still valid. I don't know. What do you think about this one, Jamie?
That'd be a good one, especially if you're trying to figure out the one, I just had a conversation with a customer earlier about this too, where I remember back in my Unix days when we all used to say, if you couldn't figure out how to do something in Unix 6 different ways, you didn't know Unix. And it's really becoming that way now in Amazon, right? In AWS. If you can't figure out how to do something 6 different ways in AWS, you don't know AWS. The problem with that is that with all these options, what's the best? And I think that would be a good session if you have like a, kind of a connectivity issue, or if you're worried, because remember, connectivity is not just about talking. It could be about latency and speed. It could be about preserving source and destination IP addresses. There's a lot, so much wrapped into it. So I think that's probably a good one to go check out.
Yeah, I agree. Now, thank you, TechFueled, for the better way to do this, networking and content delivery. So click that button instead of doing what I was doing, and don't search anything. 83 sessions, that's actually good, but that includes repeats. accelerate your hybrid networking with Direct Connect SiteLink. I like SiteLink. It's good if you're on-prem and you want to use the AWS backbone and you don't want to go into a region.
And you want to get
Day
rid
in the
of
life of I'll get rid of lease lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Day in the life of a WAF administrator. If that's important to you, that's a cool one. Connectivity patterns for ISVs.
Let me ask you this question about WAF.
Yeah.
1 second. Just go back about that. You know how complex it is to do WAF roles. And, we obviously support WAF in our ALB. We support it in our CloudFront, and we support it in the API Gateway. Would you just use ChatGPT to make those rules nowadays? No, seriously.
I think the correct answer is use Amazon Q.
Yeah, Amazon or any type of because those are all Suricata. And I got to tell you guys, I hate Suricata. I just do. So, because it's so easy to kind of make yourself into a rubber band with that.
The world has changed. Yeah. And I think for me, it's been for the better in that I needed to do some VXLAN testing the other day. And so actually, I'll draw this out. Let me see if my thing works. If you want to share the whiteboard, that would be amazing.
You need to unshare yours.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do it for you.
There we go.
Here we go. Add to stage.
Okay.
You can go ahead and erase my smiley face. That's just a center of the page.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't know what I'm doing here because this is Miro. I'm clicking buttons and maybe my thing is just way too small. Here, let's do this.
Oh, you've got to increase your weight of your pen.
There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so I'm going down, but I'm below the smiley face. If you want to track me, I'll draw a box.
Of course.
Okay, so the testing I was doing was super interesting. The architecture that a customer came to us a couple of weeks back was, hey, I've got some on-prem things. This is an on-prem router with some endpoints, and I've got a server thing here. I'm going to be super simple here with terms. And then I think they were using a direct connect. So there's a DX pop here. There's some kind of WAN connection. This is the CPE. This is maybe there's a WAN connection, or maybe they were using NetBond or SCI or something from Verizon or AT&T. Anywho, then, hey, why can't I draw anymore? I think my Apple Pencil is stopped working. Yeah, let's try again. Okay, cool. This is very cumbersome. Bear with me, everyone. Okay, so we've got a VGW here. And then what this customer wanted to do was send a multicast stream from here to their router here, which was acting as a RP, a rendezvous point for multicast, which was then these folks here were subscribing to multicast. There's one problem with this architecture, though. Multicast is not supported here. And so what do we do? And so the testing I wanted to prove was to say, well, I'm pretty sure you could, on this CPE, I'll use a different color, configure let's increase this. I'm pretty sure you could configure a VXLAN tunnel from here over all this infrastructure to this server. And then multicast basically operates from this VXLAN interface to this VXLAN interface. And then it can use the RP here, and then this is all on-premises data center stuff, so it works just fine. And I was like, okay, well, let's prove this out. And I'm just going through my thought process on how I would test this as an AWS solution architect. I'm going to go down a little bit so we don't have to erase that. And this is so simple to do, but this test would probably take me, I don't know, half a day of Googling things. I basically built an ENI inside a subnet. So this is one subnet A. I should write a little slower so we're not so chicken scratchy. This is subnet B. And such a simple test to say, okay, I'm going to send multicast between these two instances. What happens? Traffic gets dropped into basically a null zero. Oh, my Apple Pencil keeps dying. I think I have a technical difficulty here. Here we go. So basically any multicast packets will get dropped. You can't send multicast. So then I was like, okay, well, super simple. I'm just going to spin up a VXLAN tunnel between these two instances and see if it works. If that works, we've essentially proven out this architecture here. Granted, I could go into our lab and start testing out DX, but I'm 99% sure a VXLAN tunnel, which basically would look like UDP between two interfaces, would work just fine over Direct Connect. And so I was like, all right, I'm not a big Linux guy. Jamie, you have a lot more prowesses in Linux, but how can I go and configure a VXLAN tunnel and then start testing with some tool that does multicast? I haven't touched multicast in 7, 8 years, maybe longer, 10 years. I jump into Claude. I think I was using Claude or Q or whatever I was using. I think I was using QCLI maybe. No, maybe not. Anyway, it gave me the full config for both of these instances. I copy and pasted. Within 10 minutes, my VXLAN tunnel was up and I was testing multicast. And it worked. And it was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, that is good. I got to tell you, even creating my presentation for reInvent, right? There's certain aspects that we're doing where I built out some of the infrastructure. Of course, I like to test everything that I'm going to present at, just to say that it was actually done, right? So giving the different options, because again, the topic is app modernization. And one of the most important things, especially if you're trying to do things like traffic shaping or maintain security posture, or even especially maintaining constant connectivity to your application when you're using VPC Lattice to modernize, is your IAM profiles for your services. And so I'm sitting there building out my profiles, right? And just kind of like, okay, this is my resource. This is this. I have my JSON template, in my editor, and I'm just like going through, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm going through all this stuff, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to build these profiles. So sure enough, I go over to Amazon Q, and I'm like, I need a profile to allow this service to talk to this service under these conditions. I need to do a get method. I want a post method here, but this side can only do a get method, and the service network needs to check X, Y, and Z. Make me the profiles for those. And then it spits them out, right? And sure, I had to go in and edit a couple of things because they were very, very generic, but that template saved me so much time. I would still be making profiles, right? And IAM profiles for all my services right now if I didn't have something where I can just go. Because remember, back in the dark ages of the aught 13s and 16s, we didn't have this, and we literally had to go and make every single thing and test it all out. So of course I put it in, had to make some changes, because I am going to give everyone a warning, because as much as we're singing the praises of using these tools for these POCs, do not just paste them into production, because that does make mistakes. So I did have one
Production,
or two mistakes.
no. Don't do this in production. For testing, it's amazing, but then prove out everything that you've done to make sure it's production ready.
Yeah, prove it. But yeah, it's a very similar experience. But yeah. So what did you ultimately? You just did an overcast or an overlay network, and you did your multicast through that overlay network tunneling?
Yeah, and I want to share a screen here that actually shows the full config that I used, but I don't have window sharing on Chrome, which means I need to enable that, and then I'm going to get bumped off this stream. So that's going to be painful. Wow. If people are interested in seeing the config for the VXLAN tunnels, let me know, and I'll restart my Chrome browser for you. But if not, we can just keep going here.
Sponge is like, I said, don't put it into production. He's like, what? You only live once. Yeah, you only have that job once too. If you make a mistake. I did know.
But no, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so where were we?
You were looking up the reInvent sessions.
Yeah, let's bring those back. Well, we've got our GPS stuff here. We don't want that one. Oh, I want to share that other.
Oh, and also just to let you folks know too, I think next week I'm doing a session with Anusha, and she's going to be talking about some cool things that she's also doing for reInvent. So outside of just the sessions, there's a lot more things for networking, like the networking booth, and there's some activities in that. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. Anyways, back to you, Matt.
So let's keep rolling here. So there's 83 sessions. I want to just kind of touch on maybe some of the ones that we think are useful. Advanced network connectivity patterns for ISVs. Oh, we talked about that one, I think. We skipped over it. But it sounds like this is if you're an ISV and you want to allow connectivity to your SaaS for other services. So if you're an ISV, this is probably useful. Then there's this one, Advanced VPC Design and New Capabilities. So the name's shortened now. Net 201, Andrew Gray and Alex Hudez. Wednesday, 5:30. So I think this is That's a pretty good time. The 5:30 is not a bad time because it's still a little bit early for happy hours, I suppose, or the
Yeah.
networking events. They start kicking off at about 6 o'clock, I guess. So you could roll out of this at 6:30 and still catch a bit of networking at an event.
You can have all
Um,
the things in your brain, go to a networking event, and then find the people, and then just ask them tons of questions about it.
I think the
That
challenge is
happened.
it's
That
over
actually
an
happened to
MGM.
me and the PM of the new PM of VPC Lattice, Satish, a couple of years ago. We had a late session right before the big Amazon party, and people were still there, and it was a chalk talk. And then when we got to the party, they all gathered around, and we were just talking about Lattice with the throbbing music and flashing lights. So it was interesting.
What do you think about the MGM? It's a little far to walk though, right? I like the conference center
Take
there.
the bus.
Take the bus? There's a bus. Oh, I guess there's a bus from out the back of the
I'm going to tell
Sands,
you, and
right?
this is a tip for everyone who goes there. Originally, I was like, I'm a walker. I'm going to walk from one session to the other. I can go from one building to the other. Now we have things in like, the MGM. We have things in Mandalay Bay, which is at the other end. Plus, we have things all the way back at the Aria. Take the buses.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They save me so much time. I used to also take the cabs. Buses will beat the cabs because they all have their own dedicated routes behind all the buildings, whereas the cabs will mostly take you down the strip, and all the people walking and all that craziness takes some time. So buses are good.
I actually, I'm staying up near the Aria, but I like
So am
walking
I.
back after the conference every year. I'll take it takes like 15 minutes or something, but you get 2,000-3,000 steps in. It's good. It's good decompression. So I think advanced VPC design, if you can get in there, that one's key. I think Alex wants to do stickers again this year. She's asked me to help with some of the design stuff, so I'll help out with that. So that means that I'll get a stack of my own, which Jamie, I can give to you. So if any
Yes,
of you
please do.
folks see us at reInvent, ask
Why
us
are we
for
gonna? We were
stickers.
thinking of doing routing loop stickers. Why don't you make us a networking routing loop sticker, and anybody who comes,
Uh,
we can hand
I
those
would
out.
love that. What? So wait, we need to pick a slogan though. Is it stay in the loop at the routing loop, or is it don't get caught in the loop, watch the routing loop, or I don't
So
know.
when I invented the name routing loop
That's
for
true.
this
Tell us
show,
about that.
so yeah, no, it was funny because we were going back and forth. Remember, our show used to be networking and content delivery. I forgot what it was. It
Yeah.
was like some long thing. And yeah, ask Amazon Q Tech. Yeah, that's right. Let's figure out what we should call it. Yeah, the thing that I would say is for the routing loop is that when we were first figuring it out, we're like, hey, what's a good way of keeping everybody informed, and what's a good name that talks about this? And I was like, stay in the loop with the routing loop was the original slogan.
I like that.
Yeah.
We need a cool logo though. Well, I mean, we can
We can figure
something.
this out.
We can make something. Sponge Fighter. That's interesting. So Alex was your, is that prof? Is that short for professor, or I'm not sure, with a CCNA back in your home country? I'm assuming maybe that was Romania. I know that's where Alex is originally from. She was super deep in the networking and Cisco world, so I'm not surprised there. But yes, she is a great person. She's great, a great mentor. Really.
Patient.
Really patient and super knowledgeable, super knowledgeable. And she loves the details. And I think that's really important when you're technical, right? Because details matter. They really do.
Well, just like one of the things that we were trying to test out not too long ago before this even session, it's like we missed a couple of very small details, and we're like, why is this not working? Or how come this works, but it doesn't show up? We were trying to set up something very, very simple.
For everyone on here, I want to talk about this. So we're setting up a gateway load balancer, and we're trying to do some funky stuff with getting traffic to the gateway load balancer, and then having the instance, the target that receives the packet, respond directly to the host. So it's basically essentially called direct server return. And you've got to do some hacks to see if we could get it done working. Maybe we need to do some form of tunneling or some form of natting, or we're not sure. Anyway, one of the folks working with Jamie messaged me and said, we got it working, and he was so excited. And then we jumped on this morning and we found a route that was configured incorrectly, and traffic was actually going directly to the target instead of the gateway load balancer endpoint. And so it wasn't working at all. If anyone is a gateway load balancer pro and wants to talk about that, let me know in the chat.
It was so disheartening. Sadly, we were like, this is not good. But yeah, I would draw it out. But this Miro thing, they made some changes, man.
You're trying to draw it right now?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, let me see. Let me give it a second attempt while
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going here on some sessions. We'll do a quick scan. So AI agent framework for 5G RAN. I'm interested in the AI agents piece. That sounds interesting to me. And 5G RAN, I mean, it's applicable to telco folks. And I know Zeb and Sijit really well. They're great, great folks, super deep on the telco side. Modern approach to application migration with Amazon VPC Lattice. If you're interested in Lattice things, go to this session. It's by Jamie, with some of our other folks here. So, wait, you've got Ryan, Vice President at Cloud Enablement at Goldman Sachs, coming on as well. That's cool. So they'll talk about their
Ryan knows his stuff
journey.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
So the idea of
Worth
just
checking
because
out.
I can put this is our show right here, so I can put a plug in, right? The idea of this show is what we're going to do is talk to you about all the low hanging fruit where you can use VPC Lattice and easily adopt it. And then for app modernization, that's usually a big pain in the butt, right? Where we're going to go from like, monolith to containers. We're going to use Lambdas or whatever, but you always have like two different environments. And what most people get stuck with is like, okay, we have environment 1.0 and this is environment 2.0, but we're stuck at 1.5 because of some reason. So after you use Lattice and you enable it for all these other things as well that are modernizing your infrastructure, after Lattice is there, it's actually so simple. It's one of the smallest parts of the presentation of actually upgrading your app because of all the different things you've already done organically through. And then Ryan, he just comes right in and says, this is how it's used. Because you guys, everybody in the chat here and everybody watching, you always ask us, we always get that same thing all the time. What do the other people do? What do the bigger people do? Like, I'm trying to do this. Am I doing the right way? Am I doing it like everybody else? Well, Ryan's going to be showing you exactly how that's done. So that's good.
Yeah.
I
love
put in my
that,
extra
actually.
It's very cool.
I think I need to sit in this session. You sold me. That sounds great.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And you, by the way, were one of the first naysayers of VPC Lattice. I'm just going to put that out there. You're like, what is this? What's going on?
I think I'm still a bit of I'm not a naysayer now. I'm just
I think you're a convert.
I'm just a grumpy old man that likes Transit Gateway and even Cloudware. Maybe I should
like them too. There's nothing wrong with them.
Get with the program. Let's keep rolling here. Application networking simplified from basics to best practices. I like that. That sounds great. Repeat there. Approaches to layered security.
First reInvent.
Very cool.
Finally, after working on AWS for 8 years. Dude, you are in for a treat.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Excellent. Layered security, that's interesting if you want to have things like, DNS firewall, rapidly resolve DNS firewall, network firewall, traffic mirroring, WAF. Yeah, okay, that's cool if you want to build some layered security stuff. Ask me, there's a repeat. Well, do I have 3 repeats? That's the third one I've seen for that. I need to check that out. Whoops. Architecting networks for AI workloads. Okay, so this one sounds interesting.
That's important, actually, because they're
and you've got Riggs, who he was a co-host for us here,
and then he went and jumped into the AI
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I go to him for all my AI question things. So
and Pangle's in there too. He's great.
Well, I'll get to John in a second, but firstly, Riggs, he's networking first, and probably AI security second. And so you're going to get a really good network first spin on AI things. So how to architect networks for AI workloads, great. John Pangle, John actually did an amazing session last year with Scott Wyana, which I'm going to find that and post that in the chat because everyone should watch it. It's, I don't even know how to find this. I'm going to search for
probably YouTube.
John Pangle. Yeah, let's see. John Pangle on YouTube. Folks can't see this, but maybe Jamie, if you can try and find that link, that would be amazing.
Sure.
So John is basically a PM in the EC2 team, and he works on Nitro, so the Nitro system, and does a bunch of AI stuff around different Nitro-based instances. Think Ultra Cluster or Ultra Server, I think we call it, and super knowledgeable there. And so you're going to get a really good mix of a public-facing SA and an internal-facing PM, or actually he's an external-facing PM, but I think that's going to be a great session. I would sign up for this one. That one's a good one. Oh, look, you can't. It's full. Sorry. That sucks.
Stand in line. People don't always come. Yeah, people don't always come.
Yeah. Yep. Now, we definitely need to find that link for Scott and like network performance or something.
Do you know what year it was?
Okay. Oh, here it is. I found it.
Oh, you found it. Cool.
Yeah, it's called Networking Under the Hood or something. I'll paste it in the chat here. Where is the chat? Okay. All right, so this one, I just want to talk about this session for a second. It's basically EC2 Nitro networking under the hood. So if you're interested in how packets flow through the Nitro system, why we have per flow limits, how Nitro CPUs work, and processing of packets at a low level, this is a session to watch. And actually, I give this to all of my customers that ask about networking performance through Nitro. So definitely worth checking that out. Also, one thing I want to call out, 8i, is we recently launched a new instance type called R8i. I'm just going to take a quick divergence here. We've got 10 minutes left, but this was on my kind of loose to-do list to talk about. Memory optimized instances. Here we go. Okay, check this out, everyone. This is cool. I'll tell you why. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so R8i instances. Oh, actually, I don't want that. I want, there's a what's new or something, maybe. Anyway, okay, so R8 is using our newest Nitro system. And within AWS, on all of our previous Nitro systems, I guess I can say versions, we were capped at 5 gigabits per second. And so that's a hard cap. You can't go beyond that. 5 gigabits per second per flow, sorry. Aggregate depends on the instance size and instance type, whether it's an N instance or not, whether you can do 25 gig. And if you go to the internet, it's half what the instance can do and a whole bunch of other things. But the per flow limit always stood at 5 gigabits per second. With our R8 family of instances, you can now go, I think it's a very loose term, up to 10 gig. I did some testing recently and I was getting, I think I was using an iMix packet size of around 250 bytes or something, and I was getting about 7.8 gigabits per second. And so what I'm telling customers now, if you're capped by that 5 gig per flow limit, which is based on a 5 tuple, so source, dest, IP, ports, and protocol, and you want to get a bit more juice out of an instance, go to the newer family of instances. Definitely worth checking out. No one really knows this. No one knows about that we've increased the per flow limit on these instance families and these new types. So yeah, definitely worth checking that one out.
I remember hearing, and I remember some of our internal sessions where they were talking about some of the advancements. You know, our networking is basically getting bolstered because of the advancements and the needs for AI. So like our port, you know, the throughput on our ports are getting faster. The amount of bandwidth we can push is getting faster. The amount of packets we can process is getting faster because that's all needed. But it doesn't mean you have to use it just for AI. Like you can use this for just general network, you know, usage. So yeah, take advantage of all the hype. You know, if everyone is on the internet is saying that the AI bubble bursts, at least one thing that will come out of it, at least that'll make me happy, is our networking gets a lot faster.
So I agree with that statement, actually. It's almost like I'm thinking back in the day, computer power was increasing, you know, Moore's law and everything else, but it was driven by the demand for that power. And in a lot of cases, it was new games were coming out and you needed a better graphics card, you needed a better CPU, you needed more RAM. And that was what was pushing this kind of stuff. And there was a demand there. And now I'm just taking a personal analogy where I have a gaming desktop that has like an NVIDIA graphics card, and I know, Jamie, you have a bunch of stuff like that too. And instead of playing something like Cyberpunk, I'm thinking, hold on a second, I can run a local language model here on this video card. That's actually pretty cool. So
or the other thing
they
too,
kind of go hand in hand.
I got a little bit into if you remember over the pandemic there, that's when we built our PCs. I got into 3D printing, and that video card's used for a lot of rendering when you're basically doing your slicing. And is just incredibly funny because we built it for like, hey, let's play video games or do something because we can't go outside. And then, you know, you go off and start, you know, doing your own crypto farm or whatever you're doing, and I'm making a bunch of 3D things. Not video games. I know you're not doing crypto farm. I'm just kidding.
Although I've used a large language model to figure out what the economics on running a crypto farm are and the chances of mining your own Bitcoin locally, and that's interesting stuff. But here he says there's probably a bubble, but AI is not going away.
Nah.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that too. I think, yeah.
I saw, and I know we have 6 minutes left, just so our producer doesn't freak. But I did see an article. It was pretty interesting where they were talking about a lot of these tech companies. Where originally, I think the thought process was, "Hey, AI can replace low-level jobs," and we had that conversation a couple of sessions ago. But now they're looking like, okay, now it can't, right? Because let's be honest, some of the code isn't the greatest. Select star from star, where everything equals star, is not the best SQL query. But it does do a good job for like prototyping and helping people who know what they're doing, right? For testing and mapping and all that. So just as we were mentioning, I completely 100% agree that AI is not going away, Erie. It's going to be a tool that we use to help people instead of replacing people. That's my optimistic view.
The helping people thing, I think, is important because it brings knowledge to everyone. Did I know how to configure VXLAN tunnels between EC2 instances and what types to use and configuring it on Amazon Linux 2023? No. Could I figure it out? Yeah, it would take time. Could someone who isn't knowledgeable in the network space do it previously? It'd be a difficult task. But now with something like a large language model, and we've gone on a complete AI thing here. I apologize to folks who are totally AI'd out, but we're excited and we're technologists. But it just makes it more accessible and easier, and you are a bit more efficient, but you can do cooler things, in my opinion.
And more things.
And more things. Okay, we've got 4 minutes left. Let's try and find the gold sessions.
Was my session even full? Mine's gold. Where's mine? Let's go back to me. It's about me. Is my session
where were you? Well, there's John, Kimberly, Rocky.
Let's see if it's full.
Oh, there it is here. Session full, man. It's
all
done.
Right. See, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to get a bigger room for you guys. Oh, this one's a good one. Deep dive into private DNS with Route 53. And so I think DNS is not understood well enough. And because I don't use it every day, I forget. Even though I've studied DNS, I've written chapters in books on DNS. And I know, Jamie, like I consider you a DNS pro, but I feel like...
Do you remember that O'Reilly thick DNS book?
Yeah, your DNS and Bind.
I read it all. It's the one that talks about. I read that one in the SendMail book, and I have to tell you that there's a part of my brain that no longer works because that stuff still sits.
I read it and forgot it.
It's super important because most people don't realize, hey, it's almost always an afterthought when people are thinking about how they're going to address things. But it is such a DNS to me, like back if I'm going to put on my programming hat, it's a variable, right? That you can put any value you want in there. So it's a localized name variable that you can put any IP or any address in there to shift your traffic anywhere. And some people, they go nuts with it. And some people, not so much, they just kind of ignore it and hope it works later. And that's when you get.
When there's a problem, you get out the DNS and Bind book and start
exactly.
going through the chapters. I will say with this one for Christian and Jordan, I actually borrows some of the slides that Jordan was putting together. And I think the content bar there was pretty high. I gave him some really, I said, if I'm mentoring or bar raising someone, I'll say, do you want the nice feedback? Or do you want the super critical feedback? And they always said the super critical feedback. So
how come you never give me the nice feedback or even the option? You're just super critical with me. And yet I keep coming to you to figure out if my stuff is good.
This is interesting.
There's going off.
Just talk about the feelings that you're feeling right now, and let's move it up to the prefrontal cortex. There's 5 speakers in this one. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. That was DNS Unleashed. So what is this? Maybe it's something else. We're almost out of time. Just probably. It might be. It's full.
Builder session. That's why.
Elastic Load Balancing Cookbook. Oh, I like that one. That sounds good.
Who's got that?
Satya's on that one.
Yeah, definitely go see it. Satya knows his things.
Yeah, these are all full. Why don't we have more spaces? Fortifying encryption in transit. Okay, so this is important if you want to learn about Nitro. And actually, Akshay and Scott, I highly recommend. Their stuff still it's almost full. I would jump on this one. That would probably be worth it.
Ken, long time on the show, he says his session should be a Dev 318.
Let's check it out. Let's check it out.
To pull out a couple of slides on networking. Okay, let's check it out.
Well, I can't type. We're almost out of time. Here we go. Optimize AWS cost. Oh my God, yes. Optimizing costs. Come on. This is so important to so many people. All right, it's full. Ken,
you did a good job. Good topic.
Okay. I think that there's still walk-up space for this stuff too.
Yeah,
Maybe you can talk
people
about
don't
that
show up.
in the one with Anusha. What do you do if the session's
Yeah,
full?
that's the whole session next week. I know we're almost out of time, 10 minutes, but with Anusha next week, we're going to be talking about like what to do, how to maximize your time at AWS, and all the cool things that she's put together.
Well,
Matt, thoughts?
it's been a pleasure. Always love chatting with you, Jamie. Thanks everyone for all the comments. I love this one. I'm using Cura to learn how to develop apps. Yes, love that too.
All right, guys.
Bye.